Anywho, we're going to get things kicked off with Summer of 84 from 2018, which is about a teenage boy who suspects that his neighbor is a serial killer, and he also happens to be a cop. So this kid convinces his group of friends to spend their summer spying on him, gathering evidence and such, but the deeper that they get, the more trouble they get in, and the more trouble they get closer to. I only watched it just, I think, less than 2 weeks ago. I don't remember too much of it, to be honest. I can recall certain scenes, but I've already forgotten, like, all the people's names, like, all the characters. I don't recall too much about it. I thought it was decent when I watched it. For a movie, Summer of 84, I mean, I was born in the summer of 84, and it didn't necessarily feel as 80s enough for me. I don't know if that's to do with the style of everyone in the movie, or the music, or whatever it was. Like I said, I can't even really remember what the music was like in the movie. I just don't feel like it had a 80s aesthetic to it, or at least not enough for me, for a movie with Summer of 84 as the title. But I do recall, having a decent time with it. It was okay. Just the moments where, he's having conversations with his neighbor. Some of those moments will keep you on the edge of your seat a little bit, and there were a couple of surprising moments that I can recall where it was a little bloodier or more gruesome than I was expecting. But overall, I just thought it was an okay movie. It didn't really wow me. What were your thoughts on this one?
So I've seen this one twice. I first saw it, I think, December of last year, shortly after it came out. And I really liked it when I first saw it. I liked the vibe, I liked the sort of the mystery going on. I really liked the music. No, I'm not from the 80s, but to me it feels 80s, but what do I know? But when I saw it, I think earlier this week, I still think it's a pretty decent movie. I just didn't enjoy it as much. So, I mean, I don't know. I like a lot of what is going on. I just don't know if the movie necessarily had to be hour and 45 minutes. The ending is a little bit, I don't know, it's not the greatest ending. I mean, it's okay. But, I don't know, it's a movie I feel like I enjoyed quite a bit more the first time I saw it than rewatching it, which is, disappointing, but it's still an above average movie in my opinion. It's very stylistic. You can certainly tell that, Stranger Things sort of influenced some of this. And I don't know, if you like that sort of throwback vibe, and you've not seen this one, I would recommend it. I don't know if I have a whole lot to say about it, because, like I said, I saw this earlier this week, but even, just, a few days ago, I don't remember the characters that well. They're sort of like the generic, pre-teen, teen guys, and I thought, most of them did well with each other, but I don't know if there's really much in the way of, like, really memorable things in this movie, which is probably one of the drawbacks.
Yeah, I mean, I had the same problem. I watched it, less than 2 weeks ago, and I can't recall a single name in the movie. I can recall a few of their faces and a couple of interactions with their neighbor, but that's about it. So it's certainly not all that memorable. It doesn't have a lot of scenes that I guess I could say that I would want to see again so soon. So I can't really see myself wanting to revisit this movie, or at least not anytime soon. But I still, as a one-time viewing, I thought it was decent. It was okay. And about the whole 80s thing, like I said, because I can't remember it, maybe I'm not remembering that aspect of the movie well enough, but I just feel like, or maybe I just wanted them to go a little more overboard with being in the 80s setting, and it just didn't come across too much like it was set in that period. I mean, you've got people using corded phones and, playing outside. Those things that people don't really do these days, but they add a certain touch to the movie. But I don't know, I don't know if it was just I was looking for more of the music in the movie, but certainly I don't recall any of the music in the movie, so that didn't stand out to me.
But the somewhat interesting thing is, this is not the only 80s throwback that we're doing tonight, since we're doing it at the end of the show. So I'm sort of curious, once we get there, if there was any more similar to your experience in the 80s. Well, not that you had that much experience in the 80s, but I sort of wonder if that felt any more, I guess, genuine than this one did.
Yeah. Well, it did, but we'll talk more about that later.
Now, this one, toward the end of the movie, it seemed to be setting up the potential for a sequel. I've not read anything about it, if they're going to make one or not. I'm not sure if that was the intention. But I just want to say, if they do a sequel to this one, I hope they can maintain, which I think would be very difficult, but maintain a similar vibe to this one. So, I don't know, if they go that route, we will see, but I just want to bring that up. So when Samuel of 2016 comes out, we can be ready.
Yeah, so just to sum everything up, I thought it was okay as a one-time viewing. I don't see myself wanting to see this again anytime soon. You know, maybe 10, 20 years down the line, I'll give it another spin, but it just wasn't all that memorable to me. Originally, I thought I was going to give it a 7. I think just because 2 weeks later, I've already forgotten most of it. That's probably not a good sign, so I'm going to stick with a 6 out of 10 for this one.
Yeah, this is interesting, because when I first saw this movie, I gave this a 10 out of 10. So,
holy shit!
I know. So when I watched it again, I was pretty. It's been like only half a year since I've seen it last, but when I watched it again, I was somewhat disappointed. I still think it's a pretty good movie, but I definitely don't think it's quite as good as a 10 out of 10. I would give this movie probably about an 8 out of 10. I still definitely think it's above average. But the main problem is, like you say, it's not that much in the movie that I would consider memorable. There's some decent characters, there's some decent suspense, there's a great vibe, but how much of it after a month or just a few weeks are you going to be able to recall? So I thought it was a well-made movie. I thought there's a lot of great production choices, but this is a movie you're going to be thinking about all that much after you see it, in my opinion. And even though it's well-made, if you're not going to remember it, it seems, not the best choice. So I would give this one an 8 out of 10. I wouldn't necessarily call Summer of 84 generic, but as unmemorable as that movie is, I would say it is quite a bit better than this upcoming one.